Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's so serious. Where my girls at? We linked up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down.
Time to go down. It is time to go down. Happy Tuesday. Is it going to be a happy Tuesday? We're going to talk about it. We hope it's happy. Well, we choose to make it a happy Tuesday, but let it be a happy night too. And a happy rest of the week, because they say you might not know till a week from now or even December. Well, thank you for tuning in to 9:10 a.m. the Superstation WFDF. We are so grateful. We are the Force of Friendship, and this is our radio show. We got issues. We hope that you are tuning in every day, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. And we also hope that you tune into our podcast. You have got to go to theforceoffriendship.com and make sure you are on our mailing list, because the Force of Friendship at 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, we got it going on, and we got some new stuff coming out. I know we keep teasing you, but we promise it's up our sleeves, okay? I don't have sleeves on, but it's up there. It's up there. The best part of the show, I mean, this show is fly and amazing. If I say so myself, I listen to it every day myself, and I learn a lot. Yesterday, I learned a lot about baseball, okay? A lot about baseball. But I'm telling you, it is exciting and energetic. But the best part of the show is the after show, okay? I promise you. So as the events and the things that we do start rolling out, you have got to come and make sure you're there in the house, because you will get the after show. As a matter of fact, you'll be part of the after show. We might even film a show with you. So we're so grateful today. What else is everyone in America talking about? At least we hope. We know a lot of people might not even be aware, but we're going to challenge you to call, because there is still, I think, everywhere in the nation. The first polls are closing right now. Oh my gosh, is it Atlanta? Where are the first polls closing?
East
Lord,
Coast,
so some of you, yeah. East Coast at 7 or 8. 6.
That's early. That's early.
Okay, so that's going to be the first issue we talk about after we go around to the girlfriends. Who decided? And who is it in favor of for the polls to close before the single mama can even get home, get her kids from school? Right. Let's just talk about that.
And maybe not all of the East Coast, but there are some polls that are definitely closing at 6 o'clock. I wonder what states those are, because
I think it's Georgia.
Georgia?
I think it's Georgia. I mean, I can't turn up the news.
Yeah, because we don't close till 8. We're not closing till 8 here in Maryland.
I'm going to need y'all to call in 313-778-7600. Seriously, because all politics are local, and I'm representing the Bay Area, California, and each of the girlfriends will tell you where they're representing. We want you to call in and lend to this conversation. To our board operator, go ahead and hit me up as we have guests that call in, because I know those phone lines are going to be lit. Okay, so this is Katrina. Go ahead and text Katrina, because we want to hear from you. What time do your polls close? How was it at the polls? Did anybody have any issues? Was there something on your ballot that you were like, what? Because sometimes you got to read and double read and read again, because your yes could be no and your no could be yes. Okay, right. You really got to read.
One of the viewers said Indiana closes at 6, New York closes at 9. Why would Indiana close at 6? Really?
We know why. Red state, blue state. Let's just keep it real. So Sabrina, I'm passing it right to you, because we know you got skills, okay? All the time. You got messy skills. You have reading skills, writing skills. You got all kinds of skills. Okay?
Yes, and I'm modeling my husband's apparel, Kenny Monday wear, got skills with his signature, Kenny Monday. Yes.
Wow. I like it.
Whenever I find the link, I'll post the link.
Sabrina. So when should the girlfriends expect their got skills in the mail?
For Christmas. You get it for Christmas, okay?
As soon as they receive the credit card. Don't even try it. As soon as they receive the credit card.
Hey, exactly. Gift with purchase.
Buy it off of Instagram so the algorithm go up. Buy it off of Instagram.
That's funny.
All right. So
what's happening, Sabrina? Just what's going on?
Oh,
I mean,
man.
honestly, I know you've been talking to Regina. I know you've been talking to your brother. I know you've been talking to everybody. What's going on in your world on election day?
Just, get them to the polls, call one more cousin, call one more girlfriend. Did your teenager vote? I know he just turned 18. She just turned 18. Her first time at the ballot. Did she go to the polls? Well, she said she was going. No, call her and tell her it's not casual. We got to go to the polls. And so I did a lot of that today, talking to people, talk to my sister. She's taking people to the polls. Talk to my brother. He's making sure people are going to vote. I love that we all voted early so we could spend the time getting others today. So that's what I've been doing. And now that the polls are officially shutting down, starting to watch what's coming in. And then disappointed because some people are like, no, I'm not voting. You can't tell me to vote. I'm not going to vote. And that's
talk about it, Sabrina. Who told you that? Who told you that?
Well, actually,
age, what's the demographic?
Yeah, actually, Regina had that experience. Nobody told me, thank the Lord. Maybe they didn't answer the phone. They didn't want to tell me. But Regina said, just they straight up say, I don't do that. How can you not do that? How in this day and age can you not do that and be okay with not doing it? But we do what we can, we do what we can and keep it moving the best we can. Because I just think about, do you know what our ancestors, they paid such a heavy price for us to have the privilege of this opportunity. So it just turns your stomach, really.
If you don't vote, pretty soon you won't be able to if we don't have a democracy.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
Let's just keep it real. Okay.
It won't be a choice.
You may never vote.
Okay.
Yeah. Chris, what's your shirt say? Let's see. We got skills.
It says, and we need this shirt. It says spread kindness. Spread kindness.
Spread kindness for
and
real.
Listen, we need that, especially this is a shirt you need to wear when you go to the polls because some people are, they were talking about on the news where a couple of people were arrested because they were personating like security or personating that they were a part of the people that come and watch you place your votes. And, just another intimidation trick that they're using. So, yeah, it's really, really, I don't know. My stomach feels like it felt during the presidential elections. That's how I feel. I'm watching television and you're listening to the different political pundits and they're saying this. And I mean, they're saying if you look at history, the Democrats might lose the House. And, I love me some Nancy Pelosi. So the Republicans, I think, only need 5 seats to flip the House. So it's a really hot seats out there. I know there's 5 places. It's Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Nevada. And I'm going to tell you, I was listening to them interview people that were voting, and the buzzwords, whether or not they're leaning Democrat or Republican by what they say. And let me just say this. If they say they're concerned about inflation, if they say they're concerned about open borders, if they say they're concerned about people wanting to defund the police, if they say, and if they say, parents need to, have more input in what their kids are taught at school, you automatically know where they're leaning. So it's just interesting. But I'm going to tell you, my stomach is feeling a little nervous right about now.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember ever being this nervous about other states when I was growing up. I mean, I never was thinking about what was happening in other states. And I know the internet makes us aware, but maybe that's just maturity. But now you really understand. Okay, California, I'm not
understand what's at stake. It's a
Yes,
lot at
yes,
stake.
yes.
A lot at stake.
Gloria, what's happening over there in your neck of the woods?
Voting and some more voting and talking to people about voting. I went to the mall today. I asked everybody, are you voting? They must have thought I was crazy. They passed me, did you vote? I mean, and I got the response. Yeah, I'm voting. I said, that sounds like a hesitation. And so when I dug deeper, there was a hesitation. She just said yes because I asked her. But I'm telling you, it changed her decision after she talked to me. And I went right where you went, Sabrina. I said, do you know little girls died for this privilege? It's not just grown adults. I've done work. Your parents have done work. But little girls died for the privilege for you to and her comeback to me was, well, do you really think it makes a difference? I said, it absolutely makes a difference. And if you don't vote, it absolutely won't make a difference. I mean, you can become so passionate about the conversation, especially when it's in your face. So that meant I had to ask the cash register. And I said, did you vote? And she went like this and showed me her vote sign. She was, they get so precious. She was like, like it was, I was out there asking everybody. So if I had to be out there, I was asking, yes, they could see me coming and going because it's so amazing. And I was intentionally going for the young people because they keep saying the young people aren't voting. And I mean, all the way up to, when I was calling some people on the way home, I'm in the line. Don't get out the line. Just stay in the line. I'll call you back when you get like everybody. It's to me, it's everybody. And those states that Chris just mentioned clearly have a heavier load. But I said to her, you do know that they count the number of people who vote. Just because you vote, no matter what you vote, we need you to vote because you have to vote. You have to show the power of your decision to vote or not to vote. And other people are watching you. And I said to her, and what's your organization saying? Whoever you're with, I need you to go on your social media and tell them you're getting ready to go vote. Then I need you to take a picture of you voting. I mean, I'm just like, ain't nothing happening right now. Today in my world is voting.
Did you guys see the interview with that Nancy Pelosi did with Anderson Cooper?
No.
I mean, Sabrina,
Yes.
talk about it as we go to break just a little bit.
I mean, you know what? She was emotional. And Nancy Pelosi is cool as a cucumber. She handles it, but this really, I mean, as you can imagine, your husband getting hit in the head with a hammer. They had to do brain surgery to, shift something around so that he could survive on your brain. And so she talked about coming home. I don't know if I've been reading a lot. There was another interview when she brought him home and how they said they don't want him watching any news because it's traumatic to relive that. They don't want him hearing it. When they walked in the home where he was struck, he just stood there and kind of relived that moment.
Sabrina, we're going to hit it when you come back because this is important. This is important because the voter intimidation at that level, if it can rock Nancy Pelosi, really? Let's just talk about it. We got issues. We will be right back. You can run on the commercial break to your local polling place and cast your vote. It's okay. You can listen to us while you're on the move. Bye-bye. We'll be right back. right, we are back. We are back. Thanks for tuning in to We Got Issues, because we have issues. You can't hear me? You
Gotcha.
can't hear me. Okay, you got me now? Okay. We got issues. We got all kinds of issues, but guess what? These girlfriends know how to roll. We know how to stroll to the pole, and we know how to roll with the punches. There is so much riding on this midterm election. Not only will this determine which party controls the House of Representatives and Senate, but in states across the country, they will decide state leadership, who sits on courts, you guys. I can't believe, more than anything, I voted for more judges than anything on my ballot. Who leads our communities, who we trust to count the votes, and so much more. The midterms will be key to protecting the progress we've made in the last 2 years. November's midterm elections are our opportunity to flex our power from the East Coast to the West Coast. It's just so important. Black voters in these states have an opportunity to hold elected officials accountable, demanding meaningful change. Y'all, right now, 32.7 million, it says the Black eligible voters in the United States has grown at a modest pace in recent years and is projected to reach 32.7 million. Just want to give you a couple of more stats about what's going on. This really puts it in perspective. 35 of the 100 Senate seats are on the ballot. All 435 House seats are on the ballot. How can you not vote? How can you not think this doesn't affect you? 36 of the 50 states are going to elect governors. That seems like a lot.
That's huge. That's huge.
Huge. That's like 2/3 of the country. Dozens of ballot measures are on the ballot. Voters in 27 states will choose secretaries of state. There are more than 42 million that have already voted, and they think that high number, COVID, made a difference in that. And so what they're telling us is, because of the number of early voting, we may need to wait days or even weeks. And depending what happens in Georgia and maybe some of the other states that might have a runoff, it might even take longer than that. So we're going to talk a little bit more about stats, but OMG, we were talking before about the interview that Nancy Pelosi did. And when
you got two callers, Katrina, two callers.
Okay. Got it. I didn't see that. So we are going to the phone lines. We have two callers, in Tia and Bob. We're going to go to Tia first. Thanks for calling in to We Got Issues. Are you there?
Yes, I am, baby. How are you? We're doing great. We are doing great. Awesome. Please mind on this election day. So I was really surprised when you guys talked about how different states close the polls at different times. I know here in Detroit, they close at 8. I thought everybody closed at 8 all across the United States, but obviously not. So I had to look this up to see when these polls were closing. Do you know some people, some states polls close at midnight? I had no idea that. Alaska and Hawaii, their polls close at midnight. And then California and Washington, their polls close at 11 p.m. Now keep in mind, they said that if all registered voters in the polling district have already voted, they will close early. So once they know district has voted, they'll close early. 10 p.m. Idaho, Montana, Nevada, Oregon, Utah, they close at 10. And 9 p.m. Arizona, Colorado, Nebraska, New Mexico, Iowa, Louisiana, Minnesota, New York, Wisconsin, Wyoming, they close at 9. Arkansas, they're all by themselves, they close at 8:30. And then this is the biggest time frame, it's the 8 p.m. time frame. And that's everybody else. Now, where are those ones that close early? Did you see any of the ones that close early? They close at 6 p.m. It's only 2 states, Indiana and Kentucky. They close at 6. Wow. They're going to interesting. At 7 p.m., it's Florida, Georgia, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Vermont, and Virginia. They close at 7. And all the other, and at 7:30, North Carolina, Ohio, West Virginia, and everybody else closed at 8. Except for the ones that I said closed at like 9. But I was really surprised to see that there are polls closing at midnight. So, Katrina, did you know, I'm sure you did, in California, you guys close at 11 p.m.? I did not know that. I thought it was 8 p.m. And I've been, since I've been living between two places, I have been voting by mail for the past 10 years. So I didn't know, but I'm not surprised. That's what everyone should do. I mean, in the current society we live in, where people and as much traffic as there is, are you kidding me? In LA, how are you going to close something even at 8 o'clock? There's still traffic. People are still commuting. So with this being a right, wouldn't you agree, Tia, that everybody should close late? Let me put it back. 11 p.m. You guys on Eastern time. You guys on the Pacific time. So what you 3 hours? So it's Eastern time. Yep. So it's 8 o'clock. So you close at 8. Okay. So this is the Eastern time. I'm sorry, y'all. So the midnight, it's in Eastern time. Alaska and Hawaii. I want to say Hawaii is. Are they 2 hours behind Eastern time? I'm not sure. Okay, so like 5. But I remember that Alaska, I do believe Alaska really does stay open late. Something like that, which, yeah, that's just so good. Now, I know you voted. Did you call a bunch of people and remind us? If not, you still got time. I voted absentee. Okay. So, yeah, I've been voting absentee for decades. So I did vote absentee, and so I was just glad to get I voted sicker because I love absentee. Even though I'm not, at the polls, but I physically cannot get to the polls, so I voted absentee. But this is the thing: even reminding people, telling people, go vote. And we have some very important topics regarding abortion, regarding voting rights. Regarding, especially when it comes down to the politicians and term limits here, we got a few things on the ballot. People say, "Oh, go on the vote," and they don't vote. And I'm gonna tell you how many don't vote. I used to work for the Department of Elections during the time election day, and I would call up my girlfriends and homeboys, be like, "Oh, vote." When 7:55 hit, I can go and look at the voter roll all over the city of Detroit, and I can tell if you voted or not. And all the people voted, they didn't vote. Wow. Tia, what state did you say you're in? What state did you say you were in? I'm in Michigan. I'm in Detroit. Okay, you're in Detroit. Okay. I'm in Michigan. I'm here in Michigan, and so when you go into the electronic polls book, you can pull up anybody in the state of within the city of Detroit. So I can see anybody in the city of Detroit, and if I'm telling my girlfriends, "Hey, girls, I go vote on that, vote on that." Sometimes towards the end of the night, just before we get ready to balance out and close everything, I'll go and look. They ain't voted. Wow. Well, Tia, that is, we thank you for calling in and lending to the conversation, because one of the things we can really talk about is just the issue of access to voting and the simplicity of that, and what happens when people, move from one address to the other, and now they don't have transportation. It's just real life issues that stop people from voting, and that some people have used as part of voter suppression. So we thank you for calling in. We're going to go to our next caller, Bob. Thank you, Tia. Awesome. Bob, are you there? Thanks for leaning into the conversation on We Got Issues.
Oh, yes. We have a lot of issues. And the lady was pretty good. Everybody should be an educated voter as well as she is, that can log in and see who voted. And by the roll call, it's public record. So what our people that are running our township boards or the city boards are not doing is updating their voter rolls. And the last election cycle in 2020, I got 6 ballots mailed to me up to my house. And there's 2 people living there. And the other 4 lived there in 20 years. And I don't care if it's a Democrat or a Republican run it. They don't update everything. And then when whatever one gets in power, they'll redistrict, like in our area, I'm in Lake Orion, they took and redistrict us into another area, and I think they come up with a new district. But I don't know how that's possible with us having so many people leaving the state because of the jobs and the taxes. So in the city, I hope the city comes back with a better educational system. Our educational system's out of whack. I mean, the little kids, our little kids, let them be little kids. And then all this gendernomics, whatever is kibitz to these kids, they're being led down the road. And then they're talking about taking pornography-style books out of the library, and they're calling people Nazis because they're burning the books, are not of educational value to our young kids. And our reading and writing is neglected. I guess curse is going to be the new secret code for us old people to communicate with one another, because these kids can't read, and when they're printing and stuff, they're printing, it looks like hieroglyphics. So our educational system is in bad need of repair. I'm not a big fan of the NEA and their debauchery of teaching reading and writing. Most important,
Bob, I thank you for
is reading.
We're going to go to a commercial break pretty soon, and I thank you for leaning in and talking to us about your feelings and things that you think are so important. We know that the educational system needs more funds, and so there were a couple things on our ballot. Even though it's going to cost me money, it was important enough to me to say, yes, we must invest in the education of our kids. So we will be right back. Thanks, Tia. Thanks, Bob. Give us a call, 313-778-7600. You can talk all about it. You don't listen to all the pundits, but we can listen to you right here. We'll be right back.
we are talking all things voting here on We Got Issues. We're talking about the election. Thanks so much. It is going down. It is going down. We hope this country is going all the way up, okay? Because people like you voted today. There still is time. Not all the polls have closed. I understand that a few polls are just closing in 6 states in a few minutes. So if you are listening and standing in line, do not get out of line. I believe that if you're in line, they are, at least in our state, if you're in line, they have to.
Yeah.
You, right?
They have to
Don't
make
get
you
out
vote.
of line.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, I was concerned about with my ballot. My mom ended up taking it there for me, and I heard so many other because I didn't want to put it in the mail. I wanted to bring it direct and put it in the box. And so I have heard that in some places, voter suppression, like no one else is supposed to touch your ballot unless you sign off on it. I mean, there's so many things that they're doing to make it difficult and challenging. Remember, we heard about you can't go and bring water to somebody who's standing in line, or assist someone who's standing in line. And so this is why it only would get worse because of that. And so I want to ask
Katrina,
friends, what are the issues? Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to add to that. Greater Grace Temple is absolutely a polling place where people go to vote. And it also, we had the election box that for those that wanted to, vote early and then put their ballot in the secure voting box. But this year, they had to have a security guard all of those boxes around the city so that it couldn't be tampered with, or a fire started. I mean, it's really it's rough out in those streets. It's rough this election season, because anytime you have to guard that, because so many people that want to tamper with the vote is doing whatever they can to disenfranchise people, because it has been proven that the early vote tend to lean Democratic, and so it's a lot of people in the city of Detroit that did vote early. So that's a good sign. It's always a good sign.
Mm-hmm. One of the other things that Chris is pointing out with the confusion of the police officers having to protect the boxes, that's fear. And then you guys, when Tia was reading the times that the states closed their polling, that's another art of confusion. And then when you said, Katrina, about if you vote and you mail in, sometimes you got to mail in. A lot of people got pulled because it didn't have the date on the envelope, so they called them. So you guys, this is all a part of the system, because a confused mind does nothing. And so they mix up fear with confusion. And, we all know people cross different states. So someone will say, well, I close at 8:00. And someone will say, well, I close at 9:00. So boom, there's the confusion. So that's why somebody called me today on my phone and asked me, did I vote? And it's tough, when you get a phone call and you don't know who they're calling from. But I was glad to hear that people are engaged. We're talking about so much about the fear, but people are engaged. And so the reason I want to bring that up is because we need people to stay engaged. As we recruit the voters, we got to recruit more people to be engaged. I was very energetic thanking those people at the polls for being there, because it matters. It really does matter. They're putting their life on the line.
I mean, really, they really are. And who would have thought, that you would be putting your life on the line? One of the things that when you look at the issues, the top 5 issues, what are the girlfriends thinking? Because they're putting inflation as number 1. The top 5 issues: inflation, abortion, crime, and immigration, which is so interesting, because when the Republicans were in power, I'm like, what? All I remember happening with immigration was degrading human beings. I mean, it's like, and what really happened with inflation? It's interesting to me to see that protecting democracy didn't even make it in the top 5.
Right.
No.
Everybody concerned about their pocket.
It's a non-issue. It's a non-issue as far as they're concerned. Democracy, protecting democracy is not. They're like, it's not a non-issue. Insurrection, what?
Right.
What are you guys? What are we talking about? What are you talking about?
Right.
I mean, we saw it with our very own eyes go down on January 6th, and it's a non-issue.
And
What?
then you also saw when, you know, during the Black Lives Matter march, and you know, some people got out of control and did some things. They called out the National Guard, and you can't even compare what happened during the Black Lives Matters march in comparison to what happened, you know, on January 9th. You can't compare the two.
Right.
So I mean, it's two Americas right now. It is two Americas. You talk to people, and you really sometimes just have to ask yourself, maybe I'm not woke. Maybe I'm not woke, because some things is just elementary to you, but to other people, it's like democracy, it does not matter anymore. And you would think that would be number one, and everything else would come underneath that. But sadly, it's
And
not.
when you listen to what's a priority, it's a priority to their messaging. Whatever their messaging is the priority. That's not the real priority of the country, people. They've proven that over and over again. It is what message goes. So when you send your dollars to the campaign, it goes directly to the commercials. It goes directly to the communication. It goes directly to the message, the messaging. So, you know, unfortunately, it's not necessarily what the issue is. It's whatever they want it to be to win for their particular vote, for their particular state, for their particular constituents, and who they're competing against.
Mm-hmm. I was going back to
we got a caller,
to
Katrina.
Elon
We got a
Musk.
caller. We got a caller. baby.
Okay, all right. I'm listening. I'm waiting on the phone lines. Is it Tianti? Tianti, are you there?
I want to, yeah, how you doing? I wanted just a couple of things I heard you say. Now, you can't say democracy is not in place when you have states like New York, or should I say a country like New York, so states are really country, that's allowing illegals to vote now locally and for state issues. That is democracy. And you made mention about you can't have water. Well, they said that down in Georgia. What it is that you cannot hand out water bottles with candidates' information on it, campaign information on it, within a certain distance from the polling booth. That is, I mean, what's wrong with that? You can't canvass while you're in line. And I hear people talking about abortion. Nobody's stopping women from getting an abortion. What they say is that follow the law. It's up to the states. Not on that issue, but many other issues. And I'm not
correct. Well, I would have to disagree. Yeah, that's incorrect, because I live in California, and a whole bunch of people will be coming to California because they could not get an abortion.
I said follow the law in the state. That's all you have to do. If they want, you know,
you can't afford it in your state. I mean, every state should allow you to able to choose.
Now, in St. Louis, the Board of Aldermen voted to provide transportation for women that want to have abortion in St. Louis. They provide them with free transportation over to Illinois at Granite City Hospital.
So if every state want to do that, every state is going to provide transportation for women to fly from one state to another state or offer transportation, they're not going to do that. That might be unique to that state, but not,
let me ask you something. Back in the day, black families used to send their daughters down south. So who pays for that?
That is irrelevant. That is irrelevant.
Let's get back to this. I got a couple more issues. One is illegal immigration. The border is wide open. There's a law and prescribed procedures that's supposed to be followed, and this administration is not doing it. They just let anybody in. So that's my position. I voted red. I'm in a red state, and I'm happy. And I'm African American. Thank you very much.
Thank you for lending to the conversation and sharing.
I can say I disagree quite a bit when we talk about letting anybody in. I mean, I personally know of people in other parts of the world that are not able to come to the United States now because their paperwork is not in place. That's just not a true statement that anybody can come into the United States without going through a process. So now, are there people that sneak in or get in because of what's taking place in political climates all throughout the world, some of which the United States has contributed to? That would be the case. And if I was in one of those countries, I would probably be on a boat or doing something to get out of those other countries as well. So we appreciate you.
If he's an African American, he needs to deal with the fact that he's an immigrant, but he was brought over here by against his will. So he needs to really understand everybody that's in this country of America was an immigrant in one form or another. So he's off the chain all kind of ways. And I'm really tired of the conversation that says that if the vote for abortion goes to the state level, that people get to do what they want to do. The bottom line is, does a woman get to decide about her body? And if the role was reversed, would you want a bunch of women deciding what a man gets to do with his body?
Absolutely. Reverse the role. There is no way that if the role was reversed, there is absolutely positively no way that men would allow the government to control their body.
Oh, I'll say it.
Okay, we're going to a commercial. I was like, are we going to commercial or is it over? Because the girlfriends are hot. Okay, we are hot. We always hot, but right now we are hot. Okay, we will be right back after this break. We'll go to you, Chris. Thank you for tuning in to We Got Issues. Thank you for tuning in to We Got Issues. We are talking about get out the vote. We are talking about get out the vote. The polls are closing in some parts of the country, but we got a whole bunch of areas of the country and states that are still up for
Get a
grabs.
caller.
There's still time. Okay, we got another caller. I don't know the caller's name, but we are going to the phone lines. We're going to the phone lines. Just do like this. We got another caller. Come on in.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Give us some your take on election day in America today.
It's a beautiful day. Today, it's the first time I've seen so many people at the polls, and it was encouraging to see people actually get involved and going out to vote. I know our numbers probably not going to be, where they should be, but I can see the progress. Because usually when I go vote, I'm number 40 or 30 or something like that.
Right.
And today I was 124. So that was encouraging. There's a lot of different issues on the ballot, things of that nature that we overlook.
Give us one example. What was something?
It was so many judges on the ballot. It was so many. We've got those stuff on Prop 3 and abortion and this and that. That stuff that really, it affects our lives, and people need to vote on those things. But as far as looking on Facebook and reading the paper and things like that, we've never dropped the ball on a lot of those very important positions. Knowing who your judge is going to be and knowing who's on your bench and this and others is more important to me than what was Prop 1? I can't even remember what it was.
Was it time limit?
Yeah, the term limits, right? The 12 years and the 12 years max and stuff like that. Like, I voted against that because I know, politics has got a lot to do with relationships. And in order to build those relationships, sometimes it takes time. And if the people want to vote for you, I'm one of those people that if I look at that as voter suppression. Because if you really want to vote for somebody, you like somebody, you should be able to vote for that person. That person should be able to win. That's just my opinion. And I know the flip side to that. Because sometimes after so long, the war chest gets so big, and it's unfair. Yeah. But we all know about politics and how important relationships and relationship building really is. So that's the only way you can get things done. And I'm an independent voter, but I tell everybody I'm Republican just to shake people up a little bit. Because a lot of people say they're independent. A lot of people just say they're independent, and they never voted on the other side of the aisle. So I don't, every time somebody says that to me, like, I'm an independent voter, and I'm like, well, have you ever voted for a Republican? And you're like, no, they don't stand for their office either. Okay, well, you're an independent voter. But me personally, there's things on the Republican side that I really like, and I've really been leaning more towards the Republican Party than the Democratic Party. And I understand all the feelings and all, behind this and that, but when you hear Joe Biden get on a rally and say that...
Even your dog got an opinion, okay? Your dog is like, okay, you sure about that?
So when you hear Joe Biden get on there and say that no more drilling, when gas is $4 or something a gallon, that's a no. The business I run and what I do depends on gas. You know what I'm saying?
I am the one who believes in technology and state of the art. We have technology that would allow us to not be so dependent upon gas, but it's the press That technology is suppressed. California could have had a rail line years ago, but it was the automobile industry and the transportation industry that suppressed that. So there's no reason for us to have. It's just real.
And that's what we been hearing more there, because at the end of the day, the reality of the situation is the reality of the situation. You know, okay, we can blame, we can point fingers at every time. We can figure a lot of, we can do that well. But the reality,
that's not pointing fingers. Not pointing fingers. We're talking about using facts and coming up with the best solution, because if our planet is at stake, and looking at science is saying our planet is at stake, then you have to not keep doing the same things, because that is called the definition of insanity. And so I don't think Joe Biden is saying, or any Democrat is saying that I use my fair share of oil and need that as well. However, if I can accomplish the same thing in a different way, then I'm all for that. So we appreciate
fine, but until that infrastructure is built, until that is become,
it will never get built.
The reality.
It won't get built unless you make it a priority. It will not get built. Somebody, our generation, our forefathers, they stepped out and took a leap of faith and had to be the first to act on many things, understanding that it would be generations to come that would see the benefits. And we have to do that same thing, because otherwise the education won't change, the infrastructure won't change, nothing changes until somebody has to take the lead. And we are bright enough. No, inflation is not going to stop. We're not going to go hungry in America. There's enough food that is, no matter how high gas is, there are enough resources if they're allocated properly for us to take. There's more than enough. We live in this country of abundance. And so I want to thank you for calling in, and we value you, especially when someone can call in with a difference of opinion, and we're just, we're having a healthy dialogue. I call it an intense fellowship, okay? You ain't talking crazy. So I appreciate you, even though I disagree. Get it right. So thank you so much for calling in.
Keep listening to We Got Issues. All right, girlfriends, in the last part of this show, we have 1 minute. So what's on your mind aside from get out the vote?
Get out to vote.
Get out the vote. Well, we thank you for being loyal to our show, and we do have issues. And yes, the issues have solutions, and voting can make a difference. So if you don't think it makes a difference, then just take a look at your world and your life and show me that the votes of the past have not made a difference for you to be exactly where you are today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will be right here tomorrow on Wednesday, we hope, with some good news. All right, bye-bye.
Keep hope alive, baby. Keep hope alive.